Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Rootz. We have a special guest, and why I say that is because we just officially met in person today, but we've known someone in both of our lives for quite some time now, and that was your mom. I remember the first time I met your mom, and I walked in there, me and Dawn had bought, we didn't even talk to anybody about taking over this lease, right? So we walk into Blue Moon and we're like, hey, we're your new tenants. And they're like, what? And of course, we didn't know that they were all kind of business partners over there. And so, of course, I know Marianne or your mom was like on the phone and they're like, do you know who just walked in? Your new tenants. And so it probably wasn't too far before we get a call from Nick and all of that. But super cool. Your mom is one of the dear friends of ours, has helped us through so much with Clean Eats, and it was a pleasure to get to know her. And I'm so sad that we closed that location here recently and don't get to. Well, she's retired anyway. She's only working one day.
But she can't stop working.
She can't stop.
No,
You shouldn't ever stop working.
She will always be there.
Yes. So everyone, please help me introduce Miss Chesa. I said that right?
Yeah, Chesa. That's right.
Today, and we're actually going to get to know each other in front of all of you today. So I'm super
real time. It's the best
real
way.
time.
The best way to do it.
How cool is that, though? Like, I text you last night. Said, hey, I know this is spur of the moment, but can you come on the podcast tomorrow? And you're like, absolutely. I love spur of the moment. I'm like, she's my person. I never planned.
Full disclosure, this is a dream of mine. Something podcasting is a forum that's always interested in me. So to have it transpire this way is super exciting, and to have you lead with my mom is even cooler because she put us together, but she's just been such an impactful person to so many people, and to start sort of with like grounded in her, that's the best way to start.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even plan that, but she has been an important person in our lives from the beginning of, I'm sure she could tell you some stories, and Don and I were by the book, and so I felt like we ruffled some feathers, but they were always, I'm not saying like that in a bad way, but they're like, what are those two over there doing now?
Well, you were figuring it out as you go. And first of all, shout out to Sandra. So
yes.
Mom, I'm sure
sorry, you're gonna call her Mom.
You're gonna love your shout out, but it's an entrepreneur to an entrepreneur. It's you guys were all creating, they were still creating, and you guys were figuring it out as you go. And she's been telling me your story. And then for us to connect through like our individual past, our wellness journeys, that's even cooler that she's been that bridge, but now we are in our own intersection in our personal journey. And then also, in the entrepreneurship, that we get to have that touch point, but then we still get to have our own crossroads in that too, which is cool.
And I think if you don't believe that the universe puts people in your, path at the right time. Aniston and I shit you not, that we were just talking. She's like, Yvonne, I don't feel comfortable. Like, she's like, I can do breath work exercise, but she's like, I'm not like the best of it. And I was like, and we kind of like searched in Wilmington for some people to do it and kind of do the whole connection. And it was the next day, your mom, Sandra, had texted me and she was like, hey, I don't know if this is something, but I think that you and my daughter should meet, and the whole space that you're creating, the venue, the retreat, and all this. And I was like, I will connect with her. I was in the middle of convention, and I was like, this is a bad week. I don't have time, but Monday I'm going to reach out to her. And I put it on my calendar and had it at Monday, whatever time. I think it was like 9 a.m. And I text you and I was like, hey, your mom's putting us in contact, and here's what we're doing. And I thought she already knew, or that you already knew about the Rooted Woman retreat. And so that's why she was reaching out. But you had no idea of what was going on. And I'm talking to you like that you knew about this retreat. So it was, I don't know. I got chills. And then I text Amos and I was like, I think we found our girl. And it was just, she's like, awesome. And then you came out to the farm and here we are today.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I guess for whoever's watching, I am many things, but one of them is I'm a breath facilitator. So I coach how to essentially it's embodiment. Essentially, I'm trying to facilitate us returning back to ourselves, back to our bodies, back to
Love it.
everything that's there. I did that out of my own need. That's generally how we start these journeys, as in a place where you just feel like you're off. You're usually anxious or disassociated, which was my situation for most of my life. I did not feel in my body. I was out of body, always trying to take care of everybody, trying to do the right thing, be the performer, be the academic, do all those things, but never really from a source, from a soul sort of place. And it was during COVID, and I was actually living with my mom because my mom house flooded, toilet flooded our house. So we were displaced from my home, my daughter and I, during COVID. And my parents were gracious enough to take us in, but not having a home in a pandemic was a very, big struggle. And then I saw a demo for Breathwork, and I called because they were starting a training, a certification program, and I called on a whim and found myself enrolled, made a big investment in myself and found myself enrolled in this breath certification program like the next week. And it was just one of those things that, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be right now. And that started my true like journey back to myself.
I love it. So take me back even before that. Who were you as a kid growing up? And can you take what you knew then and apply it to fast forward it? And you're like, oh my gosh, if I would have, that's why I think we talked right before. And I was like, if I could have just seen the future or my, you could have skipped a few things, which obviously we don't want to skip any of that because every turn that you take is exactly where you're supposed to be, and it's leading you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
And it's easier to look back than it is to look forward, I feel. But
yeah, I'm going to use some of my somatic practice right now to take me back to that place. So again, being a breath facilitator, because we can talk about, where I was in that place, but you can actually go back to that stored in your memories and your tissue, all of those things. So I'm just going to take a second and put my feet on the ground and keep my spine straight. And I'm just going to allow a couple breaths in to settle me. Feet on the ground, feel my feet on the ground, settle into that space. And just feel who that little girl was, which she was that girl who was looking for a place to belong. She had a home, but, she wasn't always heard. She was always trying to take care of people in that home. Very different generation. Even though there was love everywhere, everybody had their own struggles. And so that little girl often felt that she wasn't heard, and she was looking for her place. And so I played soccer. I was a competitive soccer player. I was a good student. I had lots of friends, but I never felt at peace with who I was in my body. So fast forward to, and that was, my first step into that world, into who I am outside of all the things I'm doing. So there's a human being, and then there's human doing, and I was doing all the things, but I wasn't being my true self because I didn't know who that was, because I was just being what everybody else, thought I should be. And so honestly, it wasn't until I started that breath certification that I realized that who I want to be is I want to be authentically me. And breath practices, journaling, any sort of somatic practice, yoga, all of that, there's no difference. It all can return you back to who you are authentically. It's just, again, you talked about prioritization. It's making that central part of your schedule, of your day-to-day existence, that reflection, that breath, that yoga, whatever those practices are, that journaling. But it is not I'm on that path now, but it's going to be a forever. It will be a forever returning back to myself as she changes, as she evolves, just like from the little girl, reflecting back into who I am and where we want to go.
So where you're at currently, and you have a daughter.
I do. I have 2 daughters.
2 daughters.
I have a very, we have a very blended bi-coastal family. I have my oldest daughter, lives in Alaska, Sitka, Alaska.
Okay.
And she just had her second baby. So I am a grandmother of Barrett. Lily's going to really like this. Of Barrett, who's 1.5, and Octavia, who is 1 month old.
Oh my gosh, I love those names.
Yes. And Lily and I adopted Lily. So that was not a straight line path. She and I have had lots of up and downs in our relationship. And then my biological daughter, Zuri, she is in Wilmington. So I have my oldest and my grandbabies in Alaska, and my youngest and my extended family here. So we are very much a bi-coastal blended family.
I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So where you're at now.
Yes. With my varied stories. Yes.
No. Do you raising 3 powerful women?
Thank you for that.
Do you now that you're on this journey, do you divert from how you're raising them, or did you I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, when I was first raising my girls, that I was a different mom than what I am currently. And I think you become those different mothers as you develop yourself. So I guess what I'm asking you is, since you've went into this new you, and you just said that you had another aha moment today, or how does that change teaching
everything.
Your daughters?
We openly talk about, Lily and Zuri openly talk about how basically I was a completely different mom to each of them. And Lily will hear, Zuri's, I'm allowing Zuri to have a party at my house for Halloween.
Because you're tired on the last one. I understand.
And even other things, day-to-day things, like Lily will say, Mom let you do that? She would have never let me do that. And I fully own that. I met Lily when she was 6. So it was not only was, the first time parent, you learn all sorts of things,
Right.
but then I was an Insta mom. So I literally one day had no kid. And then the next day I chose to. She's my soulmate. Yeah. We chose each other. But next day I had a child. And
most moms get 9 months to prepare for this moment, and you got hours.
It was Insta mom by choice, because I absolutely fell in love with this girl the first time I saw her. But I tell this story all the time. My 30th birthday, I had only known Lily for a few months, and it was my 30th birthday, and I did it up. I went to the bar. A friend was in town, did it up. And the next morning, Lily was 7, and all she wanted was to spend time with me. And so I said, okay, let's go for a walk. And on the walk, I had to go into the bushes 3 times and puke because I had gone so hard. It'd only been me.
Yeah.
And I tell that story to her now, and she's like, oh, I don't remember that at all. I just remember, I got to spend time with you on your birthday. So yes, huge learning curve.
Is there anything that you would change?
Oh, all of it. But I talk about it all the time. And I talk about, and with other parents a lot, I talk about how the point isn't to be perfect.
No.
The point is repair. The point is to constantly be in repair and own the parts that, you aren't proud of. Take accountability, and then open that dialogue so that they can talk about their experiences as well.
So tell me about this aha moment that you've had, because that's my word too. Aha moments.
The most recent aha moment, I've been, my little self is been feeling very alone. My daughter, my youngest, is going to be going to college next year.
Okay.
So preparing for empty nest, although I totally want to rebrand that because I don't like that terminology at all. But
I feel like it's rebirth.
Thank you. I'm preparing for rebirth.
I was not sad. I was ready.
There's big parts of me that are...
They'll come back. Don't worry.
They absolutely will. She's kind of like, do I really have to leave? She's an only child in North Carolina, so she's used to the luxuries of only child. So in that rebirth, I am feeling there will be very quiet in my home. It's just myself and Zuri and our dog. So it will be quiet. There will be parts that I will need to adjust to. But then the recent aha is that this path of discovery of authentic self is a lonely path. You can't do it with anybody else. So yes, my younger self has, some issues of being alone and trying to figure things out alone, but also this journey that we're on, that's part of the journey as well. So there's a couple different components of this alone loneliness that I'm trying to look at from different angles.
I think that's one thing that I never did when I graduated high school, was like be by myself, because I felt like I always had to be around, and I'm okay being by myself now, and to do that. But my youngest daughter, I exactly what you just said. I was like, you need to be by yourself first. You need to love yourself and trust yourself, because I think if you don't have that foundation of yourself, then you go into a weak foundation into a marriage or into another relationship, and you have to have a strong one, and that person has to have a strong one too, and to build something together. So I love that this is going to be an opportunity for you come May.
Yeah, I guess
May.
fall.
She graduates.
She graduates in May. Okay. Correct. She graduates early June from Hoggard here, and it's also thinking of it differently. Like, lonely has always been a very negative connotation with lonely or alone, and it can be different. It's an opportunity. Now I have more space in my life to say yes to this, to the things that feel like a yes in my body, instead of having a schedule that doesn't allow me to say yes to the things that spontaneously come up. So all these, I have more breadcrumbs from the universe when I've created more space.
Don't worry, you're a woman. You're going to fill that space up very quickly. We say yes to a lot of shit.
I've gotten really good at not saying yes to a lot of things.
Well, can you teach me that after this episode?
We'll work on that. We're in different situations, but I say no a lot now, and that's also been a practice of mine.
I love it. All right. So I asked you before the show, I was like, could you take the listener or out there that through a simple breath work?
Yes. This has been my newest one. And I'll talk about a couple tough techniques. Box breathing is a really good balancing breath. That's a breath pattern that a lot of people maybe have heard of. A box breath is, you think about a square. So it's just equal parts inhale, and you can use a count of 5. I like 5 counts because that's attuned to the heart chakra, heart energy. But you can use a 5 count inhale, and then hold for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 5. And then hold for a count of 5. So I'll just do it without the mic for one cycle. And that's a box breath. So you could just do that for a couple rounds. And that's a very good balancing breath.
And tell me, because obviously when I'm doing the box breath, I'm shopping and doing everything else. But supposedly you're supposed to clear your mind, right? And so the box breath is... Are you laughing at me?
Inhale through the nose. I love that you're box breathing on the shopping aisle. I'm sorry, I just got a visual of you grabbing something.
I was going through my grocery list. And that what everyone does? No? Okay,
I mean, it doesn't matter. Wherever you breathe is the right place to breathe.
I'm probably a permanent patient for you.
If there's any shame happening, then pull that back, because any amount of breathing, any amount of body bend is good. with a breath, with any intake of oxygen, right? Conscious exhale of carbon dioxide, generally you're going to feel a different sensation in your body.
Okay.
So if you have like, you're in that grocery store aisle and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm getting. You take a couple breaths. Most likely you'll be like, oh, wait, I can remember what I'm supposed to be grabbing for.
So it's a little bit of clarity.
Yes.
From a breathing.
Yes. You can also have, though, I mean, we'll talk about this at Rooted Woman, but you also have a lot of physical sensations that come in from a more active breaths. I mean, orgasm's even like one of them.
Oh, do tell me more.
But yeah, there can be a ton of physical sensations.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit? Come on, everyone. Now you just teased it. Everyone wants to know.
So essentially, you are moving back into your right, rest and digest. Now, a very active breath, and we'll talk about this, how active we want to get. A very active breath is a incredibly primal experience. So if you're able to unhook the mind, and right, a facilitator can move you through those practices of unhooking your mind and just embodying and feeling the sensation in your body. So it's like any other, right, primal sensation is a lot can come. I mean, I have people who have done plant-based medicines, and they say that sessions with me are very similar to doing, plant medicine journeys. So we have the ability with our breath to move into all different type of sensations.
I love that. I was not aware of all of this.
Yes.
So that is super cool. Okay, so we did the box breath. How many more breaths usually is there? I mean, like
there's all kind. I mean, it's there. There is no right or wrong way, but I will say my favorite breath recently has been super simple. An inhale through the nose, and like as you're exhaling, you just say let in your mind or externally. You can say either. You say let go. Like it's as easy as that. And from a cellular level, when you're taking that breath and you're with the exhale and you're actually telling your cells, your tissues, every part of your body to let go. There are, follow this neurobiologist. The neurobiology of that is you are right repeating and creating new neural pathways to let things go. And so that's been the breath I'm using the most often, which is an inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, you say to yourself or even out loud, let go. Sometimes I'm doing the exhale and I let go. Like you can sigh it out. Let go. You can scream it out. Like, and in that exhale, really push everything out. So from the top, like a vacuum, all the way to the bottom. Do that 3 to 6 times.
Okay. When someone comes and visits you for a session, can you take me through what they should, be expecting?
So I
personally just want to know for myself.
Yeah. So I do talk first. Every facilitator is a little different. I have an outside space and an inside space in my home because I'm facilitating out of my home primarily right now. And so we give them options on where they would like to sit. And then it's just a conversation like we're having now. Why are you here? Is there anything you're curious about? Is there any like whispers that have led you here? And in that conversation, sometimes those conversations are lengthy. And sometimes, they're not as lengthy, and people will begin as they become closer to their breath and to the somatic practice. They'll know what they need. And really that's all it is providing a space, a container, setting a container to have that discovery of what is maybe there, maybe under a couple layers. And then when we're ready, we lay down. You can breathe seated, or you can breathe laying down. But our practice is you pick some music, You lay down on a comfortable place. You lay flat, spine as straight as possible. Make sure they're comfortable. So for the first 10, 15 minutes, it's just inviting them back into their body. Again, encouraging any outside distractions to fall away. And then after you've created that safe place, and they're able to release in their skin a little bit. And you're doing that with breath, but then you begin a more active breath, and it's an intuitive practice for me. So as a facilitator, I'm reading the responses of the body. I'm feeling the energy that's created from that person, by that person. And I'm cueing breath based on the energy that's being provided to me.
Do you find that most of the people who are coming to see you is just the everyday hustle, bustle, anxiety? Or is there, with the technology, do you have a personal opinion of not being present and how that's kind of taken things away from us? Or, I mean, obviously it's why we went to the farm in the first place, was to become more present and, distraction. We call it unplugged at our cabin was called unplugged. But do you find that that's increased your workload lately?
Well, I have a full-time job in a very corporate environment.
Okay.
I have kept my job because I have made it one of my purposes to be as authentically me, energetic. I now consider myself an energetic healer in a structured world. That means that every interaction that I have in the structured world, I try to connect with them as a human rather than as a profit and loss statement, as a task. We all have tasks to do, but right. I've made that my personal mission. As far as the whys of why we're all so stressed out, there is a ton of noise.
Tons.
Everywhere. AI, I'm currently working with AI on a daily basis, and in a lot of ways, it has increased my efficiency in my corporate structured job, and for that, I'm thankful. We were not intended, my personal opinion, we were not intended as human beings to go through these technological advances as quickly as we have, nor were we intended to be as disconnected as humans as we are. We have all this technology, which means that there's a million ways to communicate, but they're not connection. So I believe those are the two biggest reasons why we're all so stressed out.
Yeah, I honestly think that we, like you said, each one of us needs a connection or physical touch. I mean, I am guilty of that too. My husband will go to one side of the couch. I go to one side of the couch, and we're both on our phones, even though we try to quit like at 8 p.m. It's not, I mean, some is scrolling, but you're trying to get caught up on stuff in the email. And there might be a couple of days where I'm like, oh my gosh, we haven't even cuddled, and you miss and that means so much. I can't remember, is it an 8-second hug that you're supposed to, for the human connection to do? And
I think I've heard 20, I think it's 8 or 6 or 8 or something. And then 20 to their serotonin. And then there's like that next level connection at 20 seconds or something like that. But yes.
Awkward, but yeah.
Yeah. That would be very actually when my mom and I hug, my daughter's like, she gets really annoyed because we've put that 20 second into practice, and it is hugely awkward.
It's so awkward. I hugged my daughter yesterday, or maybe it was this morning. She's like, what are you doing? It's like I read somewhere it was an 8-second hug, and she's like, yeah, I gotta go. I'm like, okay, 2 more seconds, you're good. But
yeah, again, it's very important.
And it will flip. That I feel with our society is that we go from one extreme to the next extreme. And I also think, we still haven't recovered from COVID and not having the personal contact. And like, look how backwards that set us, not from finances or any of that, but just from our presence, like everyone's behind. how many people did you not even recognize after they took a mask off? Because I'm like, oh my gosh, you look completely different. I didn't even know who you were. In that whole personal connection that we lost for, was it over? It was over a year, right? Now it seems so far long ago.
It was a very long time. And to think about that time, we have close friends and our daughters are the same age. And for a period of time that nobody interacted. And then when we did, the dad would draw circles on the driveway.
Oh my gosh.
And we all laugh about it now, but each of the kids had to stand in their circle. And even just, you think about the visualization of that, how we're
Separated.
literally in our own little islands and we can't touch each other. But we did that because we were told that's what we needed to do to feel safe.
Yeah.
And to some degree, I think we're all doing that. Like, because the farther away we get, the more, I don't know, unsure we are about our human connections.
Well, I think we kind of started this whole episode out with, your child, inner child, not feeling connected and right. And so this isn't something that just happened. We just made it further apart.
That's right.
And those 3 circles, I can visually see it in how we separated those 3 kids.
That's right.
Into circles and created like, imaginary wall for that connection. So kind of messed up when you think about it.
Yeah. And I think we're moving, and it's going to be painful, but we're moving from that secular reality where we're all in our circles, and maybe our circles are getting a little further and further apart. I keep saying that things are breaking for a reason. And I think they're breaking because we're supposed to be bringing our circles back together.
Agreed.
And technology, we can't do that with the way things are. And so some things are
something always has to break.
Systems are going to crumble.
Yep. I agree. All right. Final thoughts.
My final thought is that this was super fun. Thank you for having me. And take a breath. Like, if you can, in the grocery store.
Easiest and most free thing you can do.
Wherever. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just a moment, a breath, and hug somebody for however long they'll let you do it.
8 seconds. 20 is a little awkward. You gotta work up to that.
Start with more than you would, and then let's just build from there.
And don't count out loud. That even makes it more awkward.
I believe that to be true.
Someone wants to come and do a session with you. Where do they find you at?
I am ChesaCofini.com. Although, Chesa Cofini at gmail.com. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Email me.
Are you on Instagram? Any social media?
I am really bad at social media because, again, that doesn't feel safe to me sometimes. Okay. But yes, you can find me on all the socials. I'm there. Message me, please. Yeah, DM me.
I love that. Well, I'm so happy that our paths
connected.
Thanks, Sandra. And if you want to come out and experience a Rooted Woman retreat, we still have a couple of spots left.
Please do.
You're more than welcome to go to the Rooted Woman retreat and book that today.
I'm so excited.
We're going to talk about maybe the tents situation here in a minute, the glamping, which it worked out really good this weekend, but they were guys, so we'll see.
Okay.
You can find me at Yvonne Verity on Instagram and Facebook. And if you love this episode and you love the previous episode, please share with someone. That's how we keep doing what we do with the downloads. And go check out V&V Farm, and see you next time.